Hello and welcome to my next tutorial about QGIS. In this one we will talk about the top 10 tips for novice QGIS users. Especially if you get started with QGIS and you are working in a different work environment, it may be very tough to change your work way of working to suit this program. It seems at first very difficult with many shortcuts, many options, layouts, what is that, and so on. It may be quite threatening looking for the first time user, and I will outline the top 10 things that you must do quick to boost your productivity at least 2 or 3 times. They save a lot of time and prevent mistakes. First tip: use shortcuts. Basically, the program has its shortcuts, and let's say configure shortcuts, and they can be changed for each command by clicking change and so on. But I highly encourage you to change several commands which are most often used, which are for loading layers. I will add load for loading layers, vector, and let's say it's add vector layer, add raster layer, and add delimited text layer, and add shape spatial light layer. For now, if you're a novice, don't bother asking me what a spatial light layer is. You will later learn, you will need it. But I highly encourage you to go to the settings, configure shortcuts, and go to add, and you can see add delimited text layer. I've changed it, Control plus Shift plus my comma button, and also add vector layer is just the comma button, add raster layer out plus comma button, and so on. The next series of shortcuts you will need are for digitizing, and their merge feature, merge selected features, Control plus this sign in this case. You may change it to whatever button you like, but change it so that it's comfortable for you. Besides the merge command, you will need split features parts, also split features. This is the scissors here. I will load the layer for editing. It's I will search for it. I rarely use the icons, but this one I use my shortcut Alt plus bracket, and it splits very quickly. And the last set of shortcuts I highly encourage you to change is the selection shortcuts. Select features by a polygon is the apostrophe plus Shift. Select by freehand, I'm sure I've changed it, is Alt plus apostrophe. And deselect all features is Control Shift plus apostrophe. Therefore, if I have selected many features, just by clicking that, I've deselected them all. And if I want to select by polygon or freehand, I can simply do that. So this was the first tip. The second tip, and it's also quite important, and it will boost your productivity, is change your work environment. First, when you load QGIS, it has all sorts of unnecessary things like if you go to settings, or if I am not mistaken, toolbars. Yes, it has the project toolbar turned on. Basically, it's something very stupid, like save project, open project, and so on. Like you have not the shortcut Control Shift S and Control S, and print composer and so on. They are completely useless. They are used very rarely, and you don't need an icon in front of your eyes. Secondly, the first is you must delete them by just going to toolbars and project toolbar, click on it again, and it will disappear. The second thing is that when you go to options, general, and icon size is set to, as far as I remember, 24 or 32, which is quite big, and it takes a lot of space, and I suggest that you make it to 16 minimum. Another thing is the panels here. I think that most users will need only 3 panels: layers panel, layer order panel, and layer combinations. Because layer combinations is used almost all the time, and layer order changed only when you load a layer and you create new layer, I suggest that you keep the layer order panel and layer panel one on top of another and on top of one another, and the layer combinations turned on all the time. And this will add to your more workable environment, and you will also increase your productivity. The third tip about novice users is don't rename your layers. And also, I may add, use Latin layer names. In this case, I will show you if this layer is of course zones AGGR, and I will go to its symbology. It's let's say I've checked the general. It's the name of the file. It's zones AGGR, the same as in the legend, and you rename it, of course. You add something like that, and later when you rename that layer, you will not know which file is it, and basically it messes up with your symbology later if you have used the original one. So I highly encourage you not to make experiments and create Bulgarian names of layers for my Bulgarian viewers, and to use only Latin ones. In this case, if I want to save the layer, I will type something as new layer, and use, of course, only uppercase, lowercase, Latin words, Latin characters, and also some symbols, but not exclamation mark, question mark, and so on. New layer. And also the attributes must, I will load it now. New layer. I presume I saved it here. New layer. Alright, and also it concerns the attribute table. I basically found it the hard way because it showed me some error messages later, but all the attributes columns must be in Latin and not contain more than 10 characters. And you of course can create a column named of 2 abbreviations, let's say something like that, and that's completely legit column name. You can see that it accepted it. Why do I suggest that? In QGIS, maybe column names can sometimes have Latin or Bulgarian names, but in other programs when exporting it may result in serious problems. So don't experiment naming your layers or columns in Bulgarian. The fourth mistake is not using layouts and templates. It's probably the most common mistake I see in my colleagues' work, and it's not using layouts and simply print screening or just doing some quick work, loading some layers and doing the work fast and saying, oh, I'm a pro and I do it the quick way. It won't be very hard to make a simple layout by using new print composer and creating a new layout. Let's say it's new test layout, and it won't be difficult to add a new map in this layout. I will go to A3. Why are my icons so huge? I will change them. 16, okay. And add new map and type some things in the wherever you desire, and add the title, and that's it. You just click export here and you export the map. It's not a big deal to create a composer, and you shouldn't be frightened about that. But it saves a lot of time, and sometimes it saves also the types of layers you used in your project. The fifth mistake is not saving your layer styles, and it can be very trivial layer style like this one, municipality boundary. I will just load my layer style zones. You can see municipality boundary is just this red line. It simply consists of one feature. It's style single symbol. The simplest of all symbology is just one type and 3 lines, one on top of another. And this one is also saved. I will show you how to save your symbology. You simply go to your layer style, on style, save style, QGIS style file, and save it on your computer. Later, of course, you may load style, and I will load another style. Let's say I want to load the polygon layer style. Which one will be this one? Alright, single symbol again. And it changed. And if I want to return to my previous style, because no Ctrl+Z will work, that's why I encourage you to save your styles on your computer in case you mess up, to load it again. And that's it. The sixth tip I have for novice users is learn auxiliary programs. In my practice as an architect, Autocad is one of my main weapons, and in my repertoire before QGIS even, so I am quite familiar with the program. But if you are working primarily with QGIS, you need to learn at least a bit of Autocad, how to load your projects and change the layers of the projects, and so on. Let's say we want to export the municipality boundary, save, and export as an Autocad DXF file. I will just create a new layer for DXF files, and say municipality. I will not save it to the map. And urban places also. Autocad DXF file, urban places. Alright, and you want to send these layers in Autocad to another another of your colleagues working with Autocad. It may be an engineer or any other specialty for that matter, but you must know the basics at least of Autocad and learn how to change your layer types, symbologies in Autocad and so on. Let's go to our exported files, DXF, load them all. They load in different layers. Municipality, I will just create a new layer for it. Let's say I will create municipality fill and change it to white as it is. Alright. Now it is in municipality fill. I will just deselect it and Control plus X, go to window and drawing 1, edit, paste original coordinates, and also urban places. I will need to create another layer and it will be urban places, and they will be something brownish. Again, drawing 1, edit, paste original coordinates, and that's it. You have two different layers for the two QGIS layers, and you may of course turn one on and off like that, and it's very useful. You must know at least the basics of the programs your colleagues are using, so that you may interact more productively. The seventh tip is clear column names. I've seen this many times when I receive a shapefile and it has like this. This file I received a week ago, and it has quite funny column names, like object ID to object ID, code, it's date, it's not quite clear, and so on. Date, of course, 06, I presume is the month, but that's there, but generally you get my drift. When you name your columns, make sure that the name corresponds with the contents. And object ID is object ID, but what this ID means, I don't know, and I don't have any clue about that. Whereas in a layer I've created, you may see that one, and the name of the layer of the column is Latin, but it corresponds to a Bulgarian name, and if a Bulgarian opens this attribute table, it will be perfectly clear what each column contains. The name of the village, the area where it is located, the code of the city, area in decars, abbreviation of the zone, and so on. So use clear column names. The eighth tip is save often. Save often, and I will repeat it often, because if you don't save your project and your project crashes, it happens not very often, but when it does, it costs you a lot of time, and if you're not persistent, you may even dump your monitor and rage on it and so on. like in gaming, but basically you need to save often. It doesn't cost you a lot of time. Simply click Ctrl+S and that's it. Especially if the file is on your computer, it will be done in less than 2 seconds. The ninth tip is download and use plugins. I already mentioned the layer combinations plugin. You may go to manage and install plugins, and you will find many other plugins. I use a small portion of them. There are thousands of plugins, but in your case, for your job, you may need a very specific plugin, and there's a high probability that you will find it here. There's very high probability. And the last tip about it, and it's not about QGIS directly, but it's learn from forums and other people's posts, and check the changelog when you download a new QGIS version, when you update your QGIS. Make sure you read the changelog, you read other people's posts, you read about other people, what problems they encountered, and what solutions they found, and this will greatly increase your chance of mastering QGIS very fast. So to recap, I will again mention the top 10 tips. The first one is use shortcuts. The second one, work environment. The third one, don't rename layers. The fourth one, use layouts. The fifth one, save styles. Sixth one, learn Autocad. Seventh, all layers must be in Latin. Eighth one, clear column names. Ninth one, save often. And 10th one, which also includes the bonus one, is download plugins and also learn from other people's forum posts. That was the video, 10 tips for novice QGIS users. It's Nicole from ArcPro wishing you a happy and inspirational week, and signing off.